Hello. Hello. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. So, my name is Linda Murray Bullard. They call me the business plug. How are you all doing today? So, you have just tuned in. Come in, come in, come in, come in. You have just tuned into the Business Plugs Mixer. I come on every Sunday at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. And I'm supposed to have a guest today. So, if she comes in, then we'll definitely put her in. But in the meantime, I want to talk about what gets measured gets done. And this is to small business owners specifically about how to monitor what you're doing, right? So this presentation is a brief one. I'm going to talk about something that's going to be of value to you, whether you're in a corporation or you're in a little business. We're going to talk about measurements, and we're talking about business measurements. So go ahead and share this on your screen, share it on your page. If you are watching the replay, please put hashtag replay so that I'll know that you saw it. If you have questions, go ahead and put your questions in the chat. I can see you both on LinkedIn and on Facebook Live. So if you have questions, then by all means, please ask your questions and I will get to them in the end. This is going to be a very brief presentation, but it's going to be meaningful. So at this time, let's talk about what gets measured gets done. So, what are you measuring in your business? Like, if you're a small business owner, are you measuring anything? Like, do you know how much you're making a month? Do you know how much you're spending a month? Those two things are imperative in order to grow and scale your business. So you could very well be busy doing the work, but not have measurements in place. And so you really don't have any type of way of knowing whether you're doing good or whether you're doing bad. Now, there are some obvious things. If you're getting in a lot of money, you know, okay, it's a good month. But how good? Right? I refer back to my friend Dante Stevens. Dante is a CEO business coach. And what he said was when he first started out in his business, he didn't find out that he was making six figures in his business until he was ready to file his taxes the next year. Now, that could be catastrophic because if you don't know how much you're making, like if you don't have goals in place and you don't know what you're bringing in and you're not tracking and monitoring that, then you could very well be like Dante and not know how much that you're operating a six-figure business and have no money to show for that because you haven't monitored where the money is going. You haven't monitored how the money is coming in, and you haven't monitored where the money is going. And so he was like, I was surprised that I get to my tax preparer, and they tell me that I'm operating a six-figure business. I'm like, okay, where's the money? Because the money can get away from you if you're not tracking it, if you're not paying attention to where you're sending it or how it's flowing through your company. Like having metrics in place will help you to understand each month you should be trying to make sure that you shore up, like see how much you got in, how much you spent out. So that way you can keep track so you don't get non-sufficient funds so that you're able to operate your business efficiently, right? Keeping costs down and keeping profit up. But you have to monitor it. You have to monitor it. So that's what we're going to be talking about. So when we talk about monitoring, we use what's called KPIs, and it's key performance indicators. And so the key performance indicators are things that you put in place that may be very important to you and where you want to go. Like if I'm selling widgets and another person is selling fish sandwiches, we may have very different KPIs. Theirs may be, number of sandwiches sold. Mine may be number of widgets sold. Theirs may be how much slaughter they use, or how much bread did they buy, or how much fish did they purchase. Mine may be how many materials did I purchase for my widgets. Well, how much? It's called cost of goods sold. So how much is my cost of goods sold for my widgets? Like what am I spending to get the widgets back on the shelf? For them, it would be how much bread, how much slaw, how much fish, whatever condiments they have, whatever, if they sell sodas or not, napkins, the container, they would have key indicators to say how they're doing. And they would look at how their spending is. Like, of course, you want to know how much you're getting in, your revenue, but you also want to know how much are you spending. and you're trying to make sure that you're getting the best price from your suppliers. Like if you're not keeping track of any of that and you're just making money, spending money, making money, spending money, you could definitely be operating a six-figure business and not even have a clue that it's a six-figure business. The next thing is social media metrics. A lot of people ask me all the time about, or they say, I don't like the social media. I'm not too swift on marketing social media. If you are a business that's open today, like if you're a business open today, you need to lean in because we went online in March. Like COVID put everybody online, right? COVID made us where we couldn't go face to face. And when the whole country shuts down, then we have to think of alternative ways to get to our customers and to get our customers what they need. And we have to be able to monitor that too. So here are some basic social media metrics if you're trying to measure your impact online. So you want to know reach. Reach means how many people gets to see your business, get to see your ads, get to see your videos, get to see what you're doing. How many people? That's your reach. The next thing is number of engagements. Now, engagements, they all weigh differently. Like if you have a like versus a comment, comments weigh more. If you have a share, that weighs more than a like. So likes are vanity metrics. People can like just because it's you and not really be paying attention to what you're saying. But if they start commenting and saying things back to you, social media platforms like Facebook, like Pinterest, like all the social media platforms, look at those as heavier weight of engagement that you're having people actually interacting with you. So that weighs heavy. If you put video up, they want to know if they want to know based on how big your reach is, how many of the people stopped and watched your video at 3 seconds, at 75% of the video, at 50% of the video, at 100% of the video. Like that's engagement. And the more people that engage with your video and with your ad, the more Facebook will allow other people to see it. They'll be like, oh, this is a hot thing. So let's let everybody see it. And so the more engagement you have, the more people get to see it. And then how long did they watch? Again, 3 seconds, 75% of it, 50% of it, or all of it. Did they get how long did the people watch it? Did it catch their attention? You have approximately 4 seconds when you're doing video, when you're doing any ad work, you have approximately 4 seconds to grab somebody's attention because they're scrolling, right? People are scrolling down their timeline and that looks interesting, and they stop. So you have 4 seconds to get their attention. Demographics. Who's actually visiting your page? Demographics are great because demographics shows you your artist. Like we used to have to worry about, okay, who is our artist and try to figure that out. But with social media, based on who does engagement, you can tell, like I know that the people that watch what I do are between the ages of 34 and 54. And those are my highly populated people that follow me. They're between the ages of 34 and 54. How did I figure that out? Because I use Facebook and Facebook gave me the demographics. I have 51% women, 49% men that follow me. So those demographics will help me when I'm trying to customize how I talk to them in my messaging. Like if I'm talking to the ladies, I'll use one voice in their voice. And if I'm talking to my guys, I'll use another voice. So it's about knowing who your customers are. So you're just not out here marketing to everybody. Remember, everybody's not your customer. And so therefore you should not be wasting money marketing to everybody. The next thing is the conversion rate. You want to know how many of those 5,000 followers you have on social media, how many of them have been converted to paid customers? Right? Because marketing gets you known and sales gets you paid. You want to make sure that you have a marketing strategy and you have a sales strategy and that they complement each other. So that way you're able to get more people to come see you, right? So the more people see you, can you convert those to customers, to paying customers? That's what the conversion rate is about. So let's talk about it. So let's talk about sales strategy, right? Who's buying? You need to understand who's buying. You need the demographics of your customers. Like you can have several different types of customers for your product, but you want to have the demographics of who are they and how often do they buy? That's the buying frequency. Like is your product set where they buy once a month? Do they come back every week? Do they come back every 6 months? Like what is the frequency of your customers so you can understand their buying patterns? And do you have a number of repeat customers? Do you know that you can't scale a business with one and done? Like one sale and done? that's not scalable. You cannot scale your business because you'll always be chasing customers. You'll always be chasing customers. So to think about it is to create customer journeys, right? To learn how to create customer journeys. So people, you have that number of repeat customers goes up as you create customer journeys. And then not only does it go up for them repeating customers to you, they're telling their friends. So you're getting referrals. So they'll, if you do well with this person, I have done resumes for entire families. I mean, really, my resumes, I've done it for the dad, his sister, his daughter, the daughter's boyfriend. I mean, I've done, and anytime he's my number one customer. He's been with me this entire 7 years. And every now and then he reaches back and gets some type of product. He's doing capability statements. He's getting government contracts. He's doing he wants to make a brochure to hand out to his customers. So repeat customers, what can you offer so that you're not out here doing one and done, because you cannot scale a business on one and done. And then the average customer spend. Do you know what the average customer spends? Like, can you build up a business model, a business plan, knowing what your unit cost is? How much would the average customer spend with you? When I had the pleasure of doing a business plan for a grocery store owner. And in a grocery store, you have like all types of products. So rather than trying to find out what all those different products were in order to get his unit cost, so we could build out his business plan and do his projections, we thought, what will the average customer spend when they come in here? And he said, well, they probably will get cigarettes, they'll get a beer, they'll get bread, they'll get milk. Okay. And if they're a kid, they'll probably get milk, eggs, and something to drink. Like what we came up with was $15. And we used that $15 as his unit cost to build out his business plan. And he was able to take that business plan to a bank and get $80,000. Like, that's how important it is to know the average customer spend. So if you don't know what your average customer spend is, you need to think about that. And then, where are they coming from? Like, can you trace to see where your customers are coming from? I sell online a lot. So I'm in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and the majority of my customers are in Chattanooga. But every now and then I get a person in California. I may get someone that's in Wisconsin, may get somebody else that's in Georgia or Florida. So where are my customers coming from? I keep track of that because I want to know how far my reach, remember reach on the last slide, how far my reach is and who is paying attention to what I'm doing. So website versus a physical store. If you have a website, then demographics, who are they watching? How long or what are they watching? Right? If you have various pages, you need to have something like Google Analytics or something on your page so that they can understand, so you can understand, like, what are people looking at, and what do I need to promote more, and what is not working for me. How long do they stay on your page? They have what's called a bounce. That's when people go to your page and then within seconds they're gone. Like, trying to keep that bounce rate down low, right? So that you have an attractive web page, so they spend time on your page and look at your different pages. So you should have Google Analytics is perfect. That's what I use. But you can have any kind of analytical tool tied to your website so that you can know which pages are being watched. And then how many repeat customers versus new customers. It can tell you organic customers versus paid customers. Like, you need to know the metrics. These are continual key performance indicators that you put on your website so you can keep track. If you have a brick and mortar, guess what? It's the same thing. It is the same thing. So in a physical store, a brick and mortar, right? You still need to know your demographics. Are you capturing your customers' information so that you can have more than one way to market to them? Like, you can market through email, you can market through text messaging, you can market, on social media, you can market in the media, the traditional media. Like, there's so many ways to market, but you need your demographics so that you know where they get their information from. You can't just be marketing to everyone. That's a waste of money. And then knowing what they're reviewing. Like, I love Zara. Zara is the number one retail store in the world, not just the United States. It's actually based in Spain. But Zara, if you go to the one in New York versus the one in Atlanta versus the one in LA, they are three different types of stores. And the reason being is they actually cater to the region that they're in. So if you're in California, and you come in and you look at this shirt, you put it down. Somebody else comes and look at that shirt and puts it down, and then somebody else comes in that shirt and put it down. The personnel, the sales staff will ask you, so what is it about that shirt that you found unappealing? And if you say, well, I think it would look better in blue. If enough people think that shirt looks better in blue, in 13 days after that decision is made, they have a blue shirt in the store. They listen to the customers' feedback. That's something small businesses skip. Like, we think they're complaining, but your complainers are actually showing you where flaws are in your business model. So complainers are really good because you don't want them, true. But the thing about it, if you can learn from what they're telling you, like get past that little anger, get past the little ego, and be willing to listen to what they're saying. They're not saying that's a bad shirt. They're saying that's a bad shirt in that they didn't want that shirt in that color. They wanted that shirt in blue. So if a business is going to be a number one in the world, they listen to their customers. That's the key. I mean, they are a retail store like any other retail store. Is zara.com if you want to check them out. But there are not that many stores around the world, but they are number one retailer in the whole United States. And the owner is like the richest man in the world. He stays in between one, two, and three all the time. So if you think big, if you're thinking about being in business, are you listening to your customers' feedback? And then which items get the most hits? Like, look at your register, look at your cash register, know what your most profitable item is, know what people are buying, know what you're selling out of. Being aware, being cognizant of all the different facets of your business is going to help you be a better business. And then how many repeat customers versus new customers? Same thing that you would do if you're online. It's the same principles that you do. A lot of people are skittish about being online because they feel like it's a big giant. But I am teaching people every day how to get online. So if you're interested, then please inbox me, contact me. I'll help you get online. So thinking about the different segments, I talked about you could have a lot of different customers. So thinking about the different segments of your business, the dashboard, having it all in one place helps. And like, if you can create a dashboard where you can just look quickly, like if this was your dashboard, how are you doing? You can see May versus February. You can see January versus February, March, April, and May. You can see where you hit your marks. You can see, okay, it didn't do so well in March. So that's when COVID hit. You can see that it did impact you. That's going to help you when you're trying to tell your story. If you're looking for assistance, you can say, well, in January, we were doing good. And in February was our highest month. But around about March, things kind of changed and started going down. That's a story that they want to hear when you're applying for PPP or one of the other government assistance or one of the other grants. So understanding what is important to you and what is important to your business, and then using the data that your business is giving you to make great business decisions. Like, if I know, okay, COVID hit me in March, then I know that I need to step some things up. I need to look and see if there are avenues that I can increase my sales. Like, if I was brick and mortar, okay, definitely now it's time to go online, right? Because you have a bigger reach, right? Reach is what we talk about. The bigger your reach, the more people see you, the more sales you get. That's the whole philosophy behind the reach. So yeah, so looking at your best sellers, how many best sellers do you have? Do you even know what your best sellers are? Looking at the colors, the features, the benefits, and what type of customer wants that. One of my friends, the Moores over in New York, they have a shoe store, and then they call it a grandma store. So it's for grandmothers who are not in the granny stage yet, right? They like to still be fly. They're grandmas instead of grandmas. So they have a grandma store, and they have shoes. The shoes caters to young people who like the high heels with the funky styles, and that's their customer. So that's the customer type for product one. In the grandma store, that's a middle-aged woman. She does not want the heels. She does not want the average one doesn't want the 3 or 4 inch heels. They don't want that. They want comfort shoes. They want nice looking, stylish clothes. No, they still don't. They still want to look a little bit sexy, but they don't want to be as sexy as some of the younger people, right? So just knowing who that customer are and being able to put that customer type will help you when you're marketing to that customer. You know exactly what your message should be. You can speak in their voice, like what colors attract them, what features turn them on, the benefits that you're giving them. Benefits mean you're giving them more of something or less of something. So you'll know what that is. You can have four. What's your top four products? Like when I'm doing business plans, I always ask, like in the grocery store deal, I always ask, what are the top four? Because you don't have to do the whole thing. You're doing what are the top four products that make you the most money, and you're understanding what your profit margins are on products one, two, three, and four. What is the project margin? Who are those customers? What are the benefits it's giving them? What are the features you're giving them? And what are the colors that these customers like knowing your customer that intimately can help you when you're trying to do your best sales. And so putting your customers into customer segments, like how do you divide your customers into segments to better manage the relationships? Again, if they're sending out an email, the Moors in New York, if they're sending out emails, they would not send the grandmas the same email that they're sending to the kids with the hip hop shoes, right? They're not going to do that. So they have to segment their customers to make sure that when they're talking to this brand of customer, this customer type, that they're using the right language. The kids are very not interested in the glamour stage. I can tell you that. And so they have to monitor how they're sending that information to them. So again, they would not send that to them in the same language as they would for the glamours, right? So doing that. So this has just been very brief, and it's just me telling you about what are you measuring and how are you measuring. And if you have, let me see, I'm looking for your questions now. Oh, thank you, Brenda. Thank you, Brenda. Hey, Adina. Hey, Ryan. Glad. Thank you all for joining me. So yeah, so I just wanted to come on and do a brief, very brief presentation on what are you monitoring. And if you're a small business owner and you want to understand about how to put metrics in your business, how to measure your success, then this is my information to go ahead and schedule you a call. It's a free call. It's called a Ready for Solutions call. And I'll get back with you. Schedule one day this week. We'll talk through it and see what you're measuring and get you all measured and setting up. Right. So our guest didn't make it to today. So maybe we'll reschedule her for another day. My name is Linda Murray Bullard. They call me the business plug. And so today I am plugging you into metrics. What doesn't get measured does not get done. And for that reason, if you are a small business owner, you need to understand metrics and you need to understand how they apply to you and your success. You guys have a great day. I'll see you next Sunday at 7 o'clock here on the Business Plugs Mixer. Have a great Sunday evening.